a thing that you can remember, whether you're Gen Z, X, Boomer, whatever, is a term called over communicating. It's much better to over communicate about what you're doing and pretty much don't have your boss ask you for status updates. You give them the status updates. So now they're going to start seeing you as a person that, like, hey, I don't have to micromanage this person. This person is going to always do what they have to do. And they're going to inform me if they have any impediments, if they run into anything. So you know what? They're free to roam. I don't have to I can give them a longer leash.
A number of videos going around right now talking about this article from Fortune magazine published in January of last year, all the reasons why Gen Z is being fired at alarming rates. Now, I don't want to talk about why this checks out. What I do want to talk about is the number one reason that's been attributed to this, which is a lack of initiative. When I go into the comment sections of these videos, I see a lot of comments like this. Initiative costs more money. Love how jobs want you to go above and beyond, but won't even pay a living wage or go above and beyond for you as a worker. Fair enough. What I do see in a lot of these comments is a lack of understanding of what is meant by initiative. So I wanted to offer you a very real and simple example of what initiative looks like so that you understand what's getting people fired and what's getting people promoted. The scenario is this. Your boss comes to you on Monday morning and says, hey, can you reach out to our contact at that company and get them to send you those documents that we need for our big meeting this time next week? You say 10-4. You send an email to that contact at that company. Several days go by. It's now Thursday. Your boss emails you and says, hey, just checking in on those documents. Were you able to get a hold of them? You pause for a minute, double check your inbox to make sure you haven't missed it. And then you email your boss back and you say, hey, I reached out as you asked, but I haven't heard back. Your boss sends you an email and says, hey, can you please follow up? It's really important that we get those documents. You say, no problem. You send a follow-up email. Friday rolls around. Your boss emails you and says, hey, checking on those documents, any word? You say, I sent a follow-up email like you requested, but I haven't yet heard back.
I'm going to stop it right there because, like I said, this is a apples to apples scenario right here, kind of similar to what the first guy was talking about. In this instance, too, it's like, okay, if I have an employee that first time they did what I said to do, I'm going to be more implicit this next time. Hey, please follow up. And this time, if they do not email you back, please call them. And also, if you need to, CC day manager. That's what I would told them. Because a lot of people don't know. That's how you get something done. When a team don't want to give you access to fix something, find a manager, CC them. That's how you do it.
Your boss emails you and says, have you tried calling, or can you please try calling and getting in touch with somebody? It's imperative that we get our hands on those documents and that we have them in hand for our meeting on Monday. Please let me know. Thanks. You call the company, you ask the receptionist for this person, they tell you that they're out of office, you say, okay, thank you, bye. You email your boss and you say, hey, I reached out and this person is out of office, so I'm not sure what we can do. Your boss says, leave it with me. Scenario 2. Your boss reaches out to you on Monday, asks you to get in touch with the contact at the company to get the documents. You say 10-4, you send an email pretty much right away. 24 hours goes by, you do not hear back, you send a follow-up email to that person. About a half a day goes by, you still haven't heard back, you send an email to your boss that says, hey, I just wanted to give you a little status update on this. I've reached out to this person, haven't heard back. I've sent a follow-up email and I'm waiting for a response. If I don't hear back from them by the end of the day today, I'll be reaching out to the company to see if there's anyone else they can get me in touch with so that we can get those documents in time for the Monday meeting. I just wanted to give you a status update. Your boss says, much appreciated, thank you. Wednesday rolls around, you haven't heard back, you pick up the phone and you say, hey, I'm trying to get in touch with this person, wondering if they're out of office. If so, is there anyone else who can help me in their absence? I'm trying to get a hold of these documents. You do some talking, you do some triangulating, you get your hands on those documents, you attach them to an email to your boss, end of day Wednesday, maybe morning Thursday, and you say, did some running around, got our hands on the documents. Please let me know if there's anything else you need in advance of that meeting on Monday. Your boss says, you're my hero, thanks. Now, I also want to note that person 2 has done no overtime work and has not completed any tasks outside of their pre-assigned job. But I will highlight that they demonstrated an incredible amount of initiative to reach the outcome. So it's not just the task completed that's directly assigned to you, but it's understanding what the goal is, what are the outcomes you're going for, and what are the tasks that you can take the initiative to complete in order to achieve that outcome without somebody constantly following up on you.
I think that in customer service, we call this first call resolution. And I think it is important to try to see and take ownership as far and as much as you can. And common sense always isn't so common, but you do have to think critically, even though for some people that's not, it's second nature. Like, yeah, of course I'm gonna call, of course I'm gonna follow up, but everybody's brain doesn't work the same. So taking as much ownership and taking the situation as far as you can, and maybe even thinking about, take yourself outside of work and ask, what would you do if this was a personal issue, right? You needed to get these documents for yourself. What would you do? Would you just keep sitting around and waiting, and you know that you need them by X date? Or would you pick up the phone and start calling or reaching out to alternative people to try to help you reach, whatever the goal is that you're trying to get to?
Exactly. I think a lot of these young people, like they are confused about initiative or above and beyond, and not realizing what it takes to do your job.
I hate the people who say, "Oh, is this in my work? Is this in my job description?" I can't stand people who say that. Even if it wasn't, you still gonna do it. You still gonna do it. So what does it matter?
Yeah. No. On top of that, though, I think that's because a lot of this comes from that TikTok era. You had the corporate baddie, the DeAndre guy. He was being funny, right? Very facetious. I think his videos were cool. I watched some of them, but for the most part, they were just having fun. And he had just got in corporate. He ain't been in corporate that long.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the Gen Z people hadn't been in corporate that long. So they got in where technically at that time, everybody was getting hired. You could have put some slacks in the shirt on the fish, they probably got hired. Now that's changed. And so now they are confused that they're actually having to do work. In a scenario like the last woman just said, a thing that you can remember, whether you're Gen Z, X, Boomer, whatever, is a term called over communicating. It's much better to over communicate about what you're doing and pretty much don't have your boss ask you for status updates. You give them the status updates.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're going to start seeing you as a person that, like, hey, I don't have to micromanage this person. This person is going to always do what they have to do. And they're going to inform me if they have any impediments, if they run into anything. So, you know what? They're free to roam. I don't have to I can give them a longer leash pretty much. If not, like person one, I just think there's a gap in them understanding. I don't think they really understood the magnitude of, like, hey, I need this done. Like whenever your direct manager reaches out to you about something important, that means they probably reporting to somebody that say it's important. And so you need to get it done. And if you tell them, hey, I'm not sure what else I can do, I'd much rather you say you don't understand like what else to do to reach out to somebody versus just I sent 2 emails and that's it. If somebody ain't answering the emails, something is going on. It's important. Wake somebody up. At the end of the day,
Email somebody else.
at the end of the day, it's about keeping your job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like that's the thing. Sometimes, like if I bring it back to the blue team or security operations, some people scared to pick up the phone or call somebody or something. Like, look, bro, they paying you for a job. Don't be afraid to wake nobody up. Ask for forgiveness later. Even if you woke somebody up for the wrong thing, they may be like, okay, this is what happened, whatever. But they're gonna appreciate that you called because you're like, you know what, you're just trying to look out for the company and do your job the right way. So I appreciate that. Next time do XYZ first and then call me. But I mean, that's kind of like how it goes when it comes to corporate. And so I just think if I circle back to all the other times where we talked about college and everything else, is why there needs to possibly be a corporate etiquette class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give us classes that matter. Hey, I'm going to be at work. I don't care if you're a teacher or you're a therapist or whatever. A lot of these people don't have any type of corporate etiquette. Like, I remember when it came to doing stuff for Natalie getting to school, like, the school was so horrible at emails. And I'm like, I know for a fact you are not getting more emails than I get. And I got like 6 or 7 emails and I respond on a daily. I know that's not what's going on here. It ain't that hard. And that's also the funny thing too, is like with certain schools and they can do your chat a certain way. And I realized, hey, I'm degreed. I've been corporate for a decade. So don't try to run this on me. I'm not one of the regular parents that run over here. I'm not one of the little parents.
I'm not one of your little friends.
Exactly. So I don't know. All that stuff happened. But I mean, I just think they need some time. I think if Gen Z has a millennial manager, I think they'll eventually be okay. If it has Gen X or Boomer, it's going to be much different.
It's not going to go that. It's going to be a lot of friction. It's gonna be a lot of friction.
It's like, my baby sister is almost 18. My dad is what, 61 or 62? It's different. My dad remember integration. My sister know nothing about that. And so the way that, they even attack and maybe raising her for certain things or doing certain things is much different on what they feel you should do versus kind of what the reality of understanding what type of child that you have now. I think that's what a lot of the managers are not doing in the workplace.
I think that some of this stuff should be taught in middle school and in high school. Even just, I think it's important to have etiquette classes, right? And I think it starts there and it builds out. My grandma had took me or put me in some etiquette classes growing up, and it just helps you understand appropriate behaviors. Some people are not just self-aware or socially aware of themselves, which maybe causes them to have issues, or maybe people experience them as being unpleasant to be around because they don't have that awareness.